I was never conscious of, okay, this part is comedy, this part is horror. It was just a very linear rule of thumb was, let's try to be real in every moment of the film.
오빠! 오빠 왜 이래? 원하는 게 뭐예요, 나한테?
My name is Jason Yu. I am showing my film Sleep. It has been chosen by Kahan Semaine de la Critique. I'm very honored and very grateful to be showing my debut film at Semaine de la Critique. At first, I had a very surface-level interest in sleepwalking somnambulism. I think everybody once in their lives have heard stories, grotesque stories about sleepwalking, whether that be somebody tries to jump off a building while they're sleeping, or tries to drive a car while sleeping, or even harms the person who's sleeping next to them. And I remember feeling the shock of these stories, whether that's be on the news or just some internet article. And I had a morbid curiosity about that. But then as time went on, I began to even more curious about the everyday life, the regular life of these sleepwalking patients looks like, and more importantly, what their loved ones' regular lives were like, the people who have to be with them 24/7. I just couldn't imagine it. Every night when they fall asleep, they could be put in grave danger. There's always a threat looming, and I couldn't imagine them just living regular everyday lives. So that really caught my imagination. My first priority while writing the screenplay was to create a fun genre film. I don't know, I wasn't very passionate about the subject. It felt very foreign to me, and sometimes it felt a bit too gimmicky. And when my personal story, when my personal life kind of seeped into the story, I became more passionate about the film because it dealt with subjects I cared about, like marriage. What is a marriage? What is a good marriage? What is a good relationship? Those sort of aspects made me love this story and love the screenplay even more. I'm not sure if it's all Korean films, but I think a lot of Korean films mix genre like that without even really much thinking about it. What I was focused on was just the story and what felt real. So sometimes what's real is quite funny and what's real is quite scary. I never intentionally try to, for example, create funny dialogue or create funny scenes. I think if it is funny, it comes from the absurd situations the characters are put in and their reactions to them. It makes it quite, I think, humorous. Sometimes it makes it quite humorous, and that goes for the horror aspects as well. Sometimes the situations the characters are put in are very scary and sometimes creepy. Even then, I never said, okay, this is a horror scene, so do horror acting. This is a horror scene, so film it in a horrific way. I never did that. I just tried to capture what was the most real psychology, the real emotions behind every scene. Basically, the cinematography and the production design was pretty much, we had the same rule. The same rule was, let's always follow the character's psychology and enhance their psychology, what they're feeling. For example, when the two characters are in love and they're very warm and cozy, we try to reinforce that and shoot it in a warm and cozy way. And even the production design, there are very cute little props everywhere to make it feel like they're really in love and the atmosphere is warm and cozy. But for example, in Act 2, when things get rough and the stress level heightens, the cinematography, we agreed that it would be more cold and claustrophobic. And even the production design, there were less props, it was more empty and it felt more claustrophobic. There are some shamanistic aspects that is rooted in Korea that might seem quite foreign to the Western audience. For example, the family hires a shaman to try to figure out their problems, and that might be quite awkward or quite strange for the Western audience, but in Korea, it's quite common. Even myself and my parents, my friends, etc., they all visit, they all once in their lives, I think, it's not that strange to visit a shaman, to ask for advice about our lives. We ask them to diagnose what's wrong with our lives. We make offerings to the ghosts of our ancestors to ask for a richer life, a happier life, etc. So those sort of aspects aren't really that strange in Korea and in Korean cinema, but it could be a bit strange or unfamiliar to the foreign audience.